Everyone, I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson here with you talking about the impacts of a strong nor'easter here in Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina that will pass by our area. Now, we are going to be on this southern edge of the nor'easter where we won't really see as many snowy impacts as places around the northeast, but we will see the potential for some gusty winds and some snowfall here across Hampton Roads and northeastern North Carolina. Now, here's what I'm projecting for today. We already have widespread rainfall that has been coming through since early this morning and heavy at times, especially around the Virginia side of things. That is already starting to show some gaps from the widespread rainfall now becoming a little bit more scattered in North Carolina, and that will move further north into Virginia, creating some more scattered showers, but just not as widespread or heavy as it's been this morning. After that, we are going to get the wraparound snow from the back of that system that will bring us wet snow, gusty winds, and potentially some reduced visibility later on into the day today and overnight tonight. So let's get into the nitty-gritty about what to expect as we progress through the day today and the winter weather alerts in place. So here's a look at the winter weather alerts. We have a slew of them. Okay, so I'm going to point them out with my clicker here. And here we go. So the purple one, this is a winter weather advisory. So this winter weather advisory is in place through tonight into early tomorrow morning, and that is really just for some accumulating snow from Richmond all the way down into Hampton Roads. It stops right at the Virginia, North Carolina border. Now, could we see some snowflakes in these areas in North Carolina? Sure, of course, we'll see some snowflakes, but temperatures will be too warm and it won't be enough snow to overcome the warm grounds for it to really stick and be impactful. In the red, this is a winter storm warning. And let me say one time though, winter weather advisory actually extends into Hampton, and I want to zoom in here real quick. So we have the winter weather advisory in effect for Newport News and Poquoson and Hampton, of course. So that is for the accumulating snow up to maybe an inch or two. You get into the rest of the peninsulas, and we have a winter storm warning that is in the red color here for the northern parts of the peninsula, including Williamsburg, through the middle peninsula, so Saluda, Gloucester, Matthews, in these areas, Gloucester Point. And then Tappahannock is also included in this northern neck. You have a winter storm warning as well. The eastern shore, this is a blizzard warning. Now, a blizzard warning is very specific in terms of its criteria. And I want to give you a look at what that criteria is for a blizzard warning. And for a blizzard warning to occur, you do need to have wind gusts of 35 miles per hour minimum, plus, for at least 3 hours, plus you need to have falling snow, and in combination with that falling snow and the gusty winds, that could reduce visibility to a quarter mile or less, so whiteout conditions. And that is possible from Exmoor up through Chincoteague and down through Cape Charles. So a very messy situation is shaping up here for the eastern shore and heading north. And hopefully, if anybody is here on the stream with me and you live on the eastern shore, first of all, please be careful later on tonight. But if you have any pictures or videos you want to send to us, you can send them to us at news, N-E-W-S, at 13newsnow.com. And it'll be very helpful for us to show on camera and to verify reports. We also have wind alerts, and because the snow falling plus the gusty winds won't reduce visibility to less than a quarter mile in Hampton, Newport News, Norfolk, and Virginia Beach down through the Outer Banks, we have a wind advisory instead. So the wind advisory for today, and I'm going to give you the exact wording from the Weather Service here, is that this wind advisory for eastern Currituck, Norfolk, Portsmouth, Virginia Beach, Hampton, and Poquoson is for wind gusts up to 45 miles per hour. And that's through 7 p.m. this evening through 10 a.m. today. This could make driving difficult, especially for high-profile vehicles and along our local bridges. So be careful. We also have that wind advisory stretching down into the Outer Banks, and it's for wind gusts up to about 50 miles per hour. Really breezy setup for us as this system passes by. Before we get into where the system is, I want to talk about storm impacts so that if you do have to exit this stream early, that you kind of get the gist of what we could see in terms of this nor'easter. So we'll see minor to moderate snowfall impacts. The highest impacts will be north and east, which is going to be the peninsulas and up into Delaware and Maryland, specifically on their eastern shore. For minor tidal flooding, nuisance tidal flooding, that's a low to minor risk with this system. And then gusty winds up to 40 miles per hour are likely, especially around the coast. So that impact will be minor to moderate. In terms of power outages, that risk is low, which is great news, but we'll keep you updated to see if we have any power outages along the eastern shore. Okay. Now that we're through with that, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of the forecasting. Here's a look from the satellite and radar here of the developing nor'easter. And I'll pull out my pointer again. Ooh, here we go. I'm going to pull out my pointer again. And you can see it developing right here, just to the south of the Outer Banks. But it's pulling in so much moisture as it starts to move to the north and east. So that's why we've been seeing so much rainfall this morning. Here's a look at satellite and rain and radar, and you can see that the rain is heaviest now over the eastern shore. So Exmoor down through Bird's Nest, Eastville, and Cape Charles, heavy rainfall ongoing, spreading out through the bay. Going up to the northern neck, we're seeing some widespread rainfall, but light rainfall for Alfonso through Fleeton and Christchurch. Onto the northern sides of the eastern shore, Horsey to Bloxham and Chincoteague, some light rainfall with pockets of moderate rainfall in the mix. Down through the middle peninsula, seeing some pockets of heavier rainfall through Cricket Hill, and just over the water onto the peninsula for Holly Forks. Beaverlet seeing some pockets of heavy rainfall as well. Williamsburg through Oyster Point and Bellevue Terrace, we're seeing widespread rainfall starting to taper off from the heavier portions to light to moderate. Western South Side, widespread rainfall that is mainly light to moderate in nature, though we do have a couple of gaps here and there. And Eastern South Side, widespread rainfall ongoing there as well. Down to northeastern North Carolina, Hosky through Mittensville, Acorn Hill, Reynoldson, seeing some rainfall with some heavy pockets, and then seeing some pockets of dryness through Poplar Branch into Scarborough, and then portions of the Albemarle Sound. Elizabeth City seeing some hit or miss showers, and you can see down through the Outer Banks, the further south you go, the less rainy it is. And this kind of track of gaps in the rainfall will spread to the north as that low pressure system heads just offshore here. So we will start to see some breaks in the rainfall later on today. As we continue throughout the day, the rain will eventually become snow. So overall, rainy to start this morning, but if you have to do anything today, I would say get it done before about 3 p.m. Now let's take a look at the timeline of this system. This system is obviously already impacting us, and I'm going to point out too the center of low pressure that you'll see just in our local waters in the Atlantic with that center of the nor'easter. So reason why we're not seeing snowfall today with this nor'easter is because temperatures are too warm. We're right now in the upper 30s to the middle 40s. And you can clearly, I mean, clearly see the center of low pressure here. As my mouse, there we go. Center of low pressure here offshore. Once we get to around 1:45 today, we'll see those gaps that I was talking about around North Carolina and around the eastern shore right now, moving to the north. Still some ongoing rain for the middle peninsula, northern neck, and the eastern shore. Now, with the rainfall we have today, that will kind of create a more difficult situation for the snow to stick on the ground later on. We get to around 6 to 7 p.m. and that is when the snowfall becomes widespread and could be heavy at times. And you can tell that it's heavy because if you use this key, the white is usually going to be like these kind of areas are going to be some of your lighter snowfall. Darker purples are heavy snowfall, excuse me. Down through the Outer Banks, though, and through portions of North Carolina, temperatures may be a little bit too warm to see any type of snow, even maybe a few flakes even sticking onto the grassy areas. But as temperatures fall behind this system, that's when the snow starts to really get going. But it doesn't really last long. I actually will take it back just a little bit. So this is through about 9 o'clock, and you can see the snow continues for portions of the eastern shore, through the peninsulas, and the far eastern south side. Then we get to around 10 o'clock, and the snow is pretty much said and done for the south side of North Carolina. A few lingering isolated flurries for the peninsulas, excluding the eastern shore, which snow will be ongoing tonight and will even continue through about 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. Now, good news in this situation is that this is not going to be snowfall falling during the morning commute tomorrow. We are just watching for accumulating snow that will potentially maybe stick to the ground in some areas, especially some shadier areas where it could linger for a little bit, and grassy areas. Now, if the snow is able to overcome the warm ground and allows itself to stick, then we could see maybe some impacts. I will say that with the winter storm warning in effect for most of the peninsulas, we will most likely see some schools being either delayed or canceled for tomorrow for the northern neck, middle peninsula, eastern shore, and the northern side of the peninsula. We continue through the morning on Monday, and you can see that by 8 a.m., no issues with any wet weather. It just will be breezy and colder. Temperatures will be in the mid-30s, with wind gusts as high as about 25 miles per hour. During the afternoon, wind gusts pick up to about 30 to 35 miles per hour, and then Monday afternoon will be much cooler than normal. We'll only make it to the mid-40s, where we should be somewhere in the mid-50s for this time of year. So a cool start to the work week for us. In terms of rainfall over the course of the next day or so, we're going to pick up another half an inch to an inch of rainfall. I'm going to show you in just a moment how much we've already picked up, and I'll use this radar actually here to show you the estimated rainfall accumulation. It's going to take a minute for it to load. There we go. So in places here around the eastern shore, we've seen almost 2 inches of rainfall. Around Moon, on the middle peninsula, an inch. Down into the peninsula, half an inch, a quarter of an inch, half an inch. Down into the south side, we've seen some heavier totals near Franklin, inch and a half plus, getting close to an inch and a half in extreme western Suffolk. In Norfolk, 3/10 of an inch, half an inch. In Virginia Beach, 2/10 of an inch. So not the most significant rainfall, but you can see that it is showing that we have picked up some. In North Carolina, obviously much more sparse, as the rain has been kind of hit or miss throughout the morning. And near Elizabeth City, between Elizabeth City and Poplar Branch, about 3/10 of an inch, seeing half an inch here and there. So pretty much anywhere from 1/4 of an inch to 3/10 of an inch for North Carolina. So on top of the, let's just say, general 1/2 an inch to an inch of rainfall we've seen across the area, we're going to add yet another inch to an inch, I'm sorry, another 1/2 an inch, 1/4 of an inch to an inch of rainfall across the area. Any rainfall we do get will be super beneficial, and any snowfall that we get that melts will be beneficial as well. Here's a look at the timeline, the snowfall potential for tonight into very early tomorrow morning, and we're talking basically a dusting for portions of northeastern North Carolina, north of the Albemarle through the south side, 1 to 2 inches for northern areas of the south side through the peninsula, and then up into the middle peninsula, northern neck, southern eastern shore, 2 to 4 inches with higher totals from Melfa up through Chincoteague. And that will be this area in the purple will be the area with the best chance of seeing those really high totals. But again, all the eastern shore underneath that winter storm warning. Now, one more look at, blizzard warning, excuse me. Now, one more look at these winter weather alerts here in Hampton Roads, and we have the winter weather advisory in place for the south side up through Richmond and the southern portions of the peninsula. Winter storm warning for the northern peninsula, middle peninsula, northern neck, and a blizzard warning in effect tonight for the eastern shore. Again, here is the reason why I am glad that we're getting some rain and glad that we have the potential of getting some decent snow. It's just because our drought monitor is showing that we are underneath a moderate drought all throughout southeastern Virginia and northeastern North Carolina, with our severe and extreme drought just to the south and west of our area, now kind of seeping into portions of Hosky and just south and west of Franklin. So any rainfall and snowfall we do get will actually be beneficial, but of course when you have it paired with gusty winds, that does cause some travel impacts. So be careful tonight and very early tomorrow morning. For the next 5 to 7 days, we're going to see temperatures staying in the lower to middle 40s Sunday through Tuesday, rising back above normal by Wednesday with highs on Thursday in the lower 60s. And that's before our next front comes through, bringing us some scattered to numerous showers Thursday into Friday, and a cool down, but just a minor cool down for the next weekend. That is what you need to know in terms of this nor'easter. So again, make sure that you are getting all your things done by about 3 o'clock, just so that you don't have to be out and about while it is snowing, and, of course, not having to deal with some of those travel impacts during that time. I'll be back again here at noon to give you our next update on the radar and how it looks at noon, plus any updates from the Weather Service about this nor'easter, and another look at the timeline of these winter storm impacts. For now, I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson. Have a great morning. I'll see you in just a few hours.